What if I told you that the moment you look into your dog's eyes, your brain chemistry physically changes? Not metaphorically. Not poetically. Chemically. Scientists have measured it. Your cortisol, the stress hormone responsible for anxiety, sleeplessness, and burnout, drops. And at the exact same moment, oxytocin, the bonding hormone your brain releases when you hold your newborn child, floods your system. And here is the part that will stop you cold. The dog's brain does the same thing. Simultaneously. Two species. Separated by millions of years of evolution. Locking eyes, and triggering the same neurological cascade of love. That is not a coincidence. That is 15,000 years of the most extraordinary partnership in the history of life on Earth. And today we are going to explore every dimension of it, the science, the history, the mythology, the grief, and the quiet, stubborn miracle of it all. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Let's start with the hard facts because they are more remarkable than any story. In 2015, a team of researchers at Asahi University in Japan, led by Dr. Miho Nagasawa, published a landmark study in the journal Science. Their finding was extraordinary. When dogs and their owners gazed into each other's eyes, oxytocin levels rose in both of them. Not just the human. Not just the dog. Both. This is called the oxytocin gaze positive loop. And before this study, scientists believed it was something unique to humans and their infants. The mother looks at her baby. The baby looks back. Oxytocin surges. Bonding deepens. Dogs crack the same code. And the effects go even further. Research published in Frontiers in Psychology and reviewed by the National Institutes of Health confirms that interacting with dogs measurably reduces cortisol, lowers blood pressure, slows heart rate, and reduces markers of anxiety. This is not anecdotal wellness advice. This is peer-reviewed physiology. Your dog is, quite literally, a biological stress relief system, one that evolved alongside you. But here is where it gets even more fascinating. Cognitive scientist Dr. Alexandra Horowitz, one of the world's leading experts in canine cognition, has shown through rigorous study that dogs possess what researchers call episodic-like memory. They remember past events. They can anticipate the future. They know when it's time for their walk. They know when you're about to leave. They track time in ways that are still being studied and still astonishing researchers. So when someone says dogs live entirely in the present, the science gently corrects them. Dogs are remarkable at focusing on the present moment, on immediate sensory cues, on you, on this exact second. But they carry memory. They carry anticipation. What they have mastered is not the absence of past and future. It is the discipline of now. A discipline most humans spend entire lifetimes trying to learn. Now let's go back. Way back. Genetic estimates tell us that dogs diverged from their wolf ancestors somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago, making them the first animal ever domesticated by human beings. Before horses. Before cattle. Before any crop was planted. Dogs were there. And the relationship was not one of ownership. It was partnership. Early humans and early dogs co-evolved together, hunting alongside each other, protecting each other, surviving winters that should have killed them both. Across cultures and across centuries, this partnership left its mark on mythology, art, and sacred belief. In ancient Egypt, the god Anubis, guardian of the dead and master of mummification, was depicted with the head of a jackal. The Egyptians observed that canines, with their keen nocturnal senses and their habit of wandering near burial grounds, seemed to belong to the threshold between the living and the dead. Anubis was not accompanied by literal domestic dogs, but the canine form itself was chosen to represent the sacred passage between life and death. That choice was not random. It was reverence. In Celtic mythology, dogs were symbols of healing, protection, and guidance into the other world. The healing god Nodens was associated with dogs, and across Celtic traditions, a dog's presence was understood as protective. To be accompanied by a dog was to be watched over. And across various indigenous nations of North America, from the Lakota to the Navajo to the Inuit, dogs held roles that ranged from loyal hunting companions to spiritual protectors. These relationships were as varied and distinct as the nations themselves. Some revered dogs as guides between physical and spiritual realms. Others valued them as irreplaceable working partners. But in culture after culture, the dog was never merely an animal. The dog was kin. Before we continue, I want to tell you about a dog named Hachiko. Because no conversation about loyalty, about love, about what dogs are truly capable of, is complete without him. Hachiko was an Akita Inu born in Japan in 1923. His owner was Professor Hidesaburo Ueno of the University of Tokyo. Every single morning, Hachiko walked with Professor Ueno to Shibuya Station. And every single evening he returned to the station to wait and walk his owner home. In May 1925, Professor Ueno suffered a cerebral hemorrhage at work and died. He never came home. Hachiko went to the station anyway. The next day, and the day after, and the day after that. For 9 years and 9 months, until the day Hachiko himself died in March 1935, he returned to Shibuya Station every single evening and waited. He waited for someone who would never come back. The people of Tokyo noticed. Station workers fed him. Commuters learned his name. News stories were written. And slowly Hachiko became something more than a dog. He became a symbol of loyalty so absolute it defied death itself. Today, a bronze statue of Hachiko stands outside Shibuya Station. It is one of the most visited landmarks in Japan. People leave flowers at its base. Couples meet beneath it. Tourists from across the world press their palms against the cold metal of his ears. Because something about his story reaches into the human chest and refuses to let go. 9 years. 9 months. Every evening. Waiting. If that is not love, then the word has no meaning. The bond we are describing is not just historical. It is active, documented, and transforming lives right now. Therapy dogs are deployed in hospitals, PTSD treatment programs, schools, courtrooms, and elder care facilities across the world. Organizations like the American Kennel Club and Pet Partners have helped place thousands of trained therapy dogs in environments where human beings are at their most vulnerable. The data is not ambiguous. Veterans living with PTSD who received regular interaction with service dogs reported measurable reductions in anxiety, improved sleep quality, and decreased depression symptoms. Hospitalized patients interacting with therapy dogs showed lower anxiety levels. Children in courtrooms testifying in traumatic legal cases showed reduced stress responses in the presence of a trained therapy dog. Dogs do not fix everything. They are not magical cures, and responsible researchers are careful to say so. But the evidence is overwhelming that they are genuine partners in human healing, not decoration, not distraction, but an active, physiological force for recovery. And dogs do more than respond to our emotions. Research, including a landmark 2014 brain imaging study by Attila Andix and colleagues, demonstrated that dogs have specialized voice processing regions in their brains that respond to human emotional tone. They hear sadness in your voice. They detect joy. MRI studies show that dogs process the emotional content of human speech in ways that parallel human brain function. Further research has confirmed that dogs can detect changes in human sweat chemistry linked to stress, meaning they may literally smell your anxiety before you have consciously registered it yourself. They know. They have always known. A quick note on 2 things you may have heard, because accuracy matters, especially about something this important. The Street Bernard barrel. You have seen the image, the great mountain dog with a small barrel of brandy hanging from its collar, trudging through alpine snow to save a stranded traveler. It is a beautiful image. It is also a myth. Saint Bernard dogs were indeed bred by Augustinian monks at the Great Saint Bernard Hospice in the Swiss Alps, beginning around the 11th century, specifically to locate and rescue travelers lost in snow and avalanche. They saved hundreds of lives. Their sense of smell and physical strength were extraordinary. But the barrel? That came from a painting, Alpine Mastiffs Reanimating a Distressed Traveler, painted by Edwin Landseer in 1820. No historical record documents monks ever using alcohol in their rescues. In fact, veterinary science is clear. Alcohol is dangerous for hypothermia patients. The monks relied on something far more powerful, the dogs themselves. The linguistic curiosity. It is a fact often noted that dog spelled backward is God. It is a charming observation. But it is a coincidence specific to the English language alone. In no other language does this reversal occur. It carries no historical etymology, no ancient spiritual origin. In Urdu, Kuda reversed does not become Kuda. In Latin, in Arabic, in German, the symmetry does not exist. And yet, dog lovers embrace it. Not as fact but as poetry. As a quiet, personal shorthand for the feeling that what a dog gives you is something that borders on the sacred. As metaphor, it is beautiful. As fact, it is only English. When a dog dies, something in a human being breaks. And for too long, the world told grieving pet owners to minimize that pain. It was just a dog. You can get another one. Psychology has a name for that dismissal. Disenfranchised grief, grief that society does not fully legitimize or recognize. And research has confirmed what every dog owner already knows. The loss of a dog can trigger depression, sleep disruption, identity crisis, and a grief as deep and as real as losing any member of the family. Because for millions of people, that is exactly what the dog was. They were there for the 6 a.m. runs. The nights when sleep would not come. The mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible. The years of quiet, steady, unconditional presence. Grieve them fully. The grief is proportional to the love. And the love was real. There is a perspective, held across many personal belief systems and contemporary philosophies, that the bonds we form with our dogs are not accidents. That something, somewhere, arranged the meeting. That the dog who found you at the shelter, or the puppy who crawled into your lap and refused to leave, or the old stray who showed up on your doorstep the winter you needed company most, was not random. These ideas exist in the realm of personal faith, not empirical science. But they capture something that science, for all its brilliance, still struggles to fully quantify: the feeling that a dog's love is not merely biological, that it is somehow more. 15,000 years ago, a wolf walked toward a human fire. And something began. It is still going. In your home. In the way your dog lifts their head when you walk through the door. In the weight of them at the foot of your bed. In the eyes that find yours across a room and hold. 15,000 years. And still, we choose each other.